Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Monday, January 7th, 2019. Apologies for the slight delay. Just had the computer crash before I was about to fire up here. I got to say, they don't make Macs like they used to. I've always liked Macs because they haven't given me a lot of trouble. They are expensive, but they usually run a lot better. This Mac has a lot of problems. The reason I don't always have my camera up anymore is because it causes the computer to freeze more. But anyway, there's a lot to talk about. We'll start with a little bit of this day in history, and then we'll go through all the top headlines from today. And going back to Friday evening, things we didn't cover in Friday's podcast. So, let's start here. January 7th, 1789. America held its first presidential election as voters chose electors who a month later selected George Washington to be the nation's first chief executive. And what a day it was for picking the President of the United States. To date with 114 numerology, President of the United States equals 114. And consider January 7th, written 1/7 in the US, like 17. The word Mason equals 17. Of course, George Washington, a Mason. Also on this day in history, January 7th, 1949, George C. Marshall resigned as U.S. Secretary of State. President Harry S. Truman chose Dean Acheson to succeed him. Remember Truman, the 33rd president, the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, just like George Washington. What's interesting about this is this happened on a date with 76 numerology. Harry S. Truman equals 76. And later in history, George C. Marshall would die 76 days from his birthday. Guarantee you that was no accident. Par for the course. We document these types of things, in the past, in the present, every single day. January 7th, 49, also a date with 57 numerology, Scottish Rite 57. So, Masons, think about this nation's establishment, 1776. The Jesuit Castro in 1959 on this day. Remember, Castro's death had everything to do with 59, as well as his sons, as well as his brothers. Also had everything to do with the Pope, Pope Francis, the first publicly Jesuit Pope. Covered that information very thoroughly in my book and past podcasts and past videos. Anyhow, January 7th, 1959, United States recognized the new government of Cuba 6 days after Fidel Castro led the overthrow of Batista. And what's really interesting is from Castro's 32nd birthday to January 7th, 1959 was 147 days later. And if you're new here, this is a number we talk an awful lot about. Freemason 147, conspiracy 147. It's not an accident that there's 147 windows on the White House, U.S. President 147. It's a number that has a lot to do with political leadership throughout the world. Document this all the time. And with regards to him being 32 at the time and Cuba being off the coast of America, America does equal 32. July 4th, 1776, a date with 32 numerology. Scottish is also 32, as in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which the majority of the founders were members of. I don't know if Castro was. He might have been. He was a Jesuit. The Jesuits and the Scottish Rite, they share a lot of overlap, including mottos. But think about what Cuba was used as by the United States of America. It was used as a threat. It was used for nonstop fear-based propaganda, the Cold War. No doubt, Castro was allowed to remain there off the coast of the U.S., providing all the big fear through the media for this strategic purpose. Our government is here to rule over us, and they do it with fear because fear controls people. Think about it. I mean, the U.S. kills leaders all over the world. They've done it for who knows how long. They couldn't take out this guy on his little puny island right off the coast of the U.S. because it's all a big puppet show. So transparent. Don't forget, Cold War equals 113, that number of deception. Big number of the Scottish Rite as well. On this day in 1989, Emperor Hirohito of Japan died in Tokyo at age 87. What's interesting about his death? Well, a few things. His name Hirohito equals 42 like Japan, also like Saturn. He died on his 254th day of his age. That's the number that goes with Saturn. Write about this in the book. We talk about it, at least once a month. 93 and 254. Well, all the numbers that relate to Saturn, including 42, they go with 254. Saturn is the keeper of time. If you write out the phrase Saturn, the keeper of time, it equals 254. Japan has the gematria of 93 as well as 42. Saturn is 93 and 42. This man dies on his 254th day of his age. And interestingly enough, his birthday was on the 119th day of the year. Saturn does also have a gematria of 119. And again, some people say, oh, I don't like gematria because there's multiple ciphers, but usually the multiple ciphers stack just like this. And you see how all of the values are important. So with regards to him being 87 years old, what it makes me think of is when you write out the sun with the alphabetic order, it equals 87. The sun and Saturn are the two objects in the sky that move, that are associated with keeping time. The moon is as well, but the sun and Saturn, a lot in common. The occult believes Saturn was the old sun of planet Earth. Saturn is the only planet with a gematria of 93, like how they say the sun is 93 million miles away. And what is Tokyo's flag anyway? What's that big red circle on there represent? In 1999, Bill Clinton impeached. Here's what's interesting about that. From his birthday to the date of the impeachment, he would have been 52 years old at the time. President 52, government 52, White House 52. Anyhow, from his birthday to the impeachment was 141 days later. That's interesting because when you write out 33, it equals 141. Clinton's 33, federal's 33, so is Masonry, so is secrecy, so is order. His biological father's death has a lot to do with 33. So many people don't know that Bill Clinton's real surname or his birth surname isn't Clinton. It's Blythe. Bill Blythe is his name. His father was found dead in a ditch, and his mother remarried into the Clinton political dynasty of New York, where Hillary went on to be senator. Anyway, 33, of course, Clinton's impeachment was over lying under oath about sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky. And again, that should just be a sign to everybody what a theater show our government is. Why should this have ever mattered to anyone? This is a non-issue. This is a big who cares. They associated Kennedy with sex as well. The name Kennedy's 33. But these people are just actors, entertainers, here to distract us. What really matters, if you're an American, is that you live in a giant slave ship. You're lied to every day. You've been taught a false history. You've been told you're free every day when you're not. You've been forced into an education system which has done nothing but condition you to be a slave and an idiot and a fool and lack critical thinking and to believe instead of think and to be low functioning and have very few skills. All of these important years of your life eaten up in your youth. And what did you come out with? A piece of paper and a bunch of false history and hardly any ability to do anything? Low reading and writing skills, low reading comprehension, low mathematics. I mean, this is what the average American is. Low ability. It's not by accident, it's by design. They want people who are dumb and useful idiots. And that's what the United States of America is full of. And look at this truth community. You guys think this is a truth community on YouTube? It's not. It's a community corralling the useful idiots, using them to sell t-shirts and get views. Look at almost the entire truth community. In every video, they have to utter the name Clinton. It's sad to me. this is what I see in the supposed truth community. It's almost all right-wing conservative, right? And the entire political right who grew up with right-wing talk radio that always talks about the liberal media. It's like, weird, liberal media. I can't find a single liberal radio station. Every channel I turn to is either conservative talk radio talking about the liberal media, or it's religious talk radio. It's just like you change the dial, AM, oh, conservative, religious, conservative, and then they're all talking about the liberals. It's like, where are these liberals at? I mean, what was liberal about Bill Clinton? They say these guys are liberals. What was liberal about Bill Clinton? He was pro-corporate. He was militaristic. What's liberal about that? You know? Anyway, I don't want to get into a political discussion, but this is what the truth community is. You know, all the people that just cater to this element of mind-controlled people, the people who are considered liberal and conservative, they consider themselves the educated types, and you know, they're too educated to consider conspiracy theories. Both paradigms are full of useful idiots, is the point. But you'll just notice on YouTube and in the supposed truth community, every word that has to come out, every other word has to be about the Clintons. Like Bill and Hillary Clinton are responsible for anything. They're two puppets on strings, controlled by the corporate elite, the bankers, the Zionist cabal. That's who they are. Bill Clinton, after 9/11, you know, what was his job? To tell everybody that was a 9/11 conspiracy theorist that they were a bunch of crackpots. He's been doing that ever since. But they're just puppets. You know, they're just order followers. They don't have any control over anything. Listen to these other truth channels, though, they'd have you think that they're the top of the pyramid, Bill and Hillary Clinton. They're calling all the shots. All the world's problems are Bill and Hillary. You know, you listen to my show on TFR. If you tune in 20 minutes earlier, you can hear the show before mine. Every week. All it is Bill and Hillary Clinton are responsible for this. Whatever the new latest problem is in the headline, it's Bill and Hillary Clinton's fault. It's like, God. And people are tuning in for that. You know, they don't want the truth. They just want to be useful idiots. One-track minds. Also on this day, we had the Charlie Hebdo shooting hoax, a hoax that they were proud to put in front of your face. You know, guns with no recoil, no muzzle flash, no blood. Just a crap story, but probably the most graphic story they've put on in any of these terrorist hoaxes over the years. Remember, we just had the Christmas market attack in France by the numbers, the same day as the church attack in Brazil by the numbers. You know, attacking the Christians is for Christmas. They said the attacker in France for the Christmas market, his name was Sharif Chakat, not too far off from Sharif Kouachi, the Charlie Hebdo attacker. Just want you to see this real quick. The news of the Christmas market attacker being killed, just for a little review here, it was a date with 63 and 36 numerology. This was in Paris. Paris 6336, that's where he was killed. And his name equaled 63, and it was a reminder about how Charlie Hebdo was 63, and the phrase that came out after the supposed ISIS-inspired attack in Paris on Friday the 13th was 63, and terrorism 63. The word racism is also 63, and all of these stories inspire racism. Should have put that up here. You know, what was the Charlie Hebdo thing? It was over who could draw the best illustration making fun of the Prophet Muhammad. If you ask me, anybody who participated in that contest probably did deserve to get shot. You know, I think we'd live in a better world if we had less government and more, you know, sensible people, less assholes. You know what I mean? It's just like the same thing happened in Texas. What was that, in 2015 when they were doing the Jade Helm drills? They were having to draw the Prophet Muhammad contest, and then a bunch of guys with the same coding on their names supposedly shot up the event. Anyway. They use similar names again and again because they have similar gematria, and the gematria is the code that they script all their propaganda by. And it's been going on since before the establishment of this nation. So that said, let's get into some current news. I got to start with this story right here. This is one most people won't care about, but really it is a big deal. Kroger and Microsoft have partnered up to take on Amazon. And today's January 7th, 2019. It's a date with 47 numerology, the big number for Freemasonry, the number of foundation. We have a new foundation here, Microsoft and Kroger. What is Kroger? Oh, Kroger's the biggest grocery company in the world. And what's Microsoft? Oh, one of the biggest companies in the world. And another one of these companies that is into data collection and servers. Keep in mind, Microsoft and Amazon are both headquartered up here in Seattle on the 47th parallel, home of the Space Needle with the rotating restaurant that does a full rotation every 47 minutes. The word times 47. But this is no accident. And again, the world of corporations work by the numbers. They do all their big mergers by the numbers. It's not an accident that this mega merger happens today. And this is not good for the world. These companies are interested in two things: control and profit. And these two companies have a lot of influence over our government if they aren't the government themselves. And what does our government already do with food? You know, they've already made it so that we can't even know what's in our food. You know, there's certain chemicals that are being put in a lot of food. Our government passed bills so that we can't even know about the existence of those chemicals or if they're in our food. Why is this stuff being done? Why? I mean, there's probably multiple reasons. Perhaps those chemicals are great preservatives and, you know, allow these products to have more shelf life. But at the same time, they're probably horrible for us as human beings. They're probably cancer causing, et cetera, et cetera. You know, what else? I mean, Microsoft, Bill Gates used to be at the head of that company. Don't forget, Bill Gates equals 33, and he was the CEO for 33 years. You go to Microsoft's campus, the executive building is number 33, not by accident. But Bill Gates, you know, he's big on eugenics and, you know, population control. He's like the Georgia Guidestones of a walking man. And here we are in a nation with the Georgia Guidestones that have been up for over 30 years, and most people have never even heard of them. The ones that say limit the Earth's population at 500 million. And if there's any plan in place to get to 500 million, and if we're really at 7 billion, that means 13 out of 14 people have to die. So there's a little news by the numbers, and believe it, there's a whole lot of 47 going on today. Trump, of course, is front and center, but what day isn't he? Let's not forget that Trump equals 47, like president, like White House, like government, like authority, like how he was in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel the night of the election. But look at this story over here. Cyntoia Brown gets clemency after serving 15 years of her life sentence. 47 is the 15th prime number. 47 is the 15th prime. And this story comes today, the date with 47 numerology. The story's out of Tennessee. Tennessee has the Gematria 47. Today's date also has a numerology of 27. 1 plus 7 plus 19 is 27. That's the abbreviated date numerology. But notice racism and the woman's name Brown, they share this Gematria 27. Brown's actually 27 with both reduction ciphers of our two of our four base ciphers. Brown sums to 27 in. But what a day to hear about this. Tennessee, 15 years, 47 the 15th prime. Time equals 47. Time is a circle, it's a loop. The 15th letter of the English alphabet is O, a circle. Time equals 47 with the alphabetic order. 47 the 15th prime, O, the circle, time, circle. Anyway, some other things that jumped out about this woman's name. The 60 and the 102 jumps out in a big way. The N word has gematria of 60 and 102. Don't forget, slavery is 102. If you are a prisoner, you are a legal slave. You know, they can work you and essentially pay you nothing. It's not an accident that we have such a gigantic prison population, and the majority of people there have no reason being there. Again, I believe I don't like to use the word believe, but I do believe that there shouldn't be such a thing as prison. I don't think prison's right for anybody. I don't think anybody deserves to live in a box. You know, if you can't exist in society, there's more traditional ways of dealing with that than making somebody live out their life in a box. That's inhumane. And that's never helped anyone. Okay, never say never. There's probably a few people who've done a stint in jail or prison and got out and they said it helped them, but I bet you there would have been a more effective way of helping that person than making them live in a box. So we've been on the Ruth Bader Ginsburg watch. I've been suspecting that she very well might not make it to her 86th birthday, which is the Ides of March this year, March 15th. Done a lot of videos on Ruth Bader Ginsburg and why I think that. So here we are on the first date with 47 date numerology this year, January 7th, 2019. That's the big judge number. Again and again, rituals with Washington, D.C., the Supreme Court, and judges all across this world, really. Judge and gavel with the alphabetic order, both 47. Ginsburg is 47. Government's 47. Authority, President, White House, Republican, Democrat, D.C., Trump. They're all 47. Remember, Donald Trump's first Supreme Court justice, Neil McGill Gorsuch, was confirmed on 4/7, April 7th. They nominated Brett Kavanaugh on a date with a big 47 connection. Again and again, the number plays. Ginsburg not on bench for court's first day of arguments in 2019. Maybe coincidental, maybe not. Arguments does have the gematria of 118 like Cancer. She's out because of the surgery she had for cancer, which was by the numbers, which we covered on December 21st, the day of the news. Something else that's very interesting. This news comes 17 days after her cancer treatment. On 1/7, the word kills 17, so is the word Mason. We talked about that earlier. Today's also 67 days before her 86th birthday, and in our base ciphers, blood sacrifice equals 67 and 86. The name Ruth is also 67. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is 86. Is she going to get 86th before her 86th birthday? I'd say the narratives are building more and more. I made this prediction when she was supposedly still in good health. Since then, she's fallen and broken her ribs, had this cancer treatment, been missing days in court, including today. We'll see. How about Kevin Spacey? Again, this entire thing's a joke. I've been covering it for more than a year. He just put out the video on Christmas Eve. Not a single person in the truth community took a stab at it and got anywhere near the truth of what was going on when it was a relatively easy riddle to see if you knew gematria. Again, he didn't come out on Christmas Eve by accident. As Zenith of the Alpha pointed out, his main accuser stars in the show Rent, and Rent is focused on Christmas Eve. Plus, there was a whole lot more gematria-related riddles to it, which is what's going on today, with today him being in court in Nantucket. Notice Nantucket equals 134 like House of Cards. This is the big number for the Trump administration. Donald Trump, the Trump card, running for president during the time of the show House of Cards about the presidency. Notice also Nantucket, Massachusetts equals 277, which is the 59th prime number, like how Kevin Spacey equals 59, like how Freemasonry equals 59. 59 is the 17th prime. He's doing this on January 7th. Kevin Spacey's 59 years old right now. On Christmas Eve, it was 59 days from the first accuser's birthday. Freemasonry sums to 59 in Hebrew and English. Freemasonry controls the federal government. It controls Hollywood. It controls the media. Freemasonry is who they are at the top. And again, it's not every Mason. It's not every low-level Mason. I'm talking about the ones in high places. From Kevin Spacey's 59th birthday to today is also 165 days later. Again, what's the branch of Freemasonry that runs the show? The Scottish Rite. So, and then, of course, today has the 47 date numerology. He's in front of the judge. Today also has 20 date numerology. Look how gavel, judge, and obey are all 47 and 20. Today also has the 27 date numerology, the big ritual number. It couldn't be any more 59. And with regards to 59 being the 17th prime, this all began in 2017. Don't forget that either. So, another race-based story got even more racial, got even more racist. Supposedly there was the killing of this little girl named Jazmine Barnes. She was killed on December 30th, the only day in the calendar year where you add the day plus the month whole and it sums to 42. The number stamped all over Black history. 12 plus 30, 42. And what are the two numbers that they always pair together? 42 and 59. The 18th chapter of my book, Letters and Numbers, is about the contrived race war in the media by the numbers and how they always pair 42 and 59. So what's the name Barnes equal? Well, it equals 59, just like Negro, like slave, like blues. And for the record, December 30th is LeBron James' birthday. It's also Tiger Woods' birthday. LeBron James equals 42, Tiger equals 59, Woods 59. Not an accident. Not at all. So the latest story is they got one of the people involved in her killing, and how did they catch him? A missed turn signal leads to the arrest of suspect in Jazmine Barnes' killing. Who gets pulled over for not using their turn signal besides black people? You know? Who? Do you see? It's racism on top of racism. First, it's about black on black crime, you know, with the racist black numbers coded in the story. And then it's they catch the suspect because he's not using his turn signal. I mean, give me a break. They also said that, I didn't even cover this story, but I saw the headline this morning. They said that the tip on this arrest actually came from the founder of Black Lives Matter. Oh, man. Anyway, would you believe the name of the suspect who didn't use his turn signal? His name is Eric Black Jr. Eric Black Jr. pulled over for driving while black for not using his turn signal. Oh, man. I just noticed there's a bunch of things that stand out about his name. 79 connects to murder, 205 all-seeing eye, 47 news, everything else Freemasonry. The 64 stands out in a big way because civil rights equals 64, the Civil Rights Act in 64. 34 connects to murder. Anyway. Eric Black's in court today. Eric Black's in court today. You know, the date with the 27 numerology, the big racism number. The date with the 47 numerology. Eric Black Jr., 47, facing the judge. My guess is this entire story is not true. There's probably no little girl named Jazmine Barnes. There was probably no little girl killed December 30th. It's not to say these things don't happen, but this just looks like more racial shaming by the numbers. And to close out 2018, don't forget the word race equals 18. So, it's just such a joke, you know. The name Jazmine Barnes. Her name also has the Gematria 79, like the guy arrested. Murder equals 79. It's the story of murder. 137, the 33rd prime. Race war 33. Jazmine's also 33. 39, the year segregation ended. Anyway, it's not hard to see what's going on when you know Gematria. Unfortunately, most people just want to hear about Bill and Hillary Clinton every day. You know, most of the truth community doesn't care about the racism by the numbers. They don't care about the federal propaganda by the numbers. They don't care about having real evidence to prove the lies every single day. They just want to hear Bill and Hillary Clinton. Should just write a book called Bill and Hillary Clinton. Just have 2 words, 2 names in the whole book, probably sell 1 million copies. Here we go. R. Kelly. R. Kelly getting shamed. New show called out, Surviving R. Kelly. I thought we were done with this. No, the media will never be done with this. They'll never be done shaming black people. So, you know, R. Kelly. Notice his birthday is tomorrow. He's going to turn 52. This comes out at the end of him being 51 years old. And the first episode just came out January 3rd, 5 days before his birthday, right? I don't think it's an accident that it came out 5 days before. The show's called Surviving R. Kelly. Surviving R. Kelly equals 181. That's the 42nd prime number. 42, number stamped all over Black history. You know, the N-word's 42, slavery's 42. February, the month that sums to 42, Black History Month. By the way, February ends on the 59th day of the year, 4259. There's a whole lot more to that list of 42. Jackie Robinson, of course, wore 42. The name Jackie equals 42. Last year on his birthday, there were the deaths of 3 black celebrities, all with name Gematria 42, including Don Lemon's sister, who supposedly drowned in a pond. Pond equals 59. Supposedly she was fishing in January, drowned in the pond. Doesn't that story make sense? Oh, it's a blizzard outside. I feel like I'm fishing today. Great fishing weather. Don Lemon gives up his own sister so he can tell the lies every day on CNN. By the way, the word lemon equals 59. Anyway, Surviving R. Kelly, 181, the 42nd prime. The show comes out 5 days before his birthday. 5 equals 42. The word birthday equals 42. The only 2 single-digit numbers that have a gematria 42 are 5 and 9. And remember, Negro, slave, blues are all 59, made up of the digits 5 and 9. The word surviving, the show's called Surviving R. Kelly. Surviving equals 102. Look at the N-word, look at slavery. 42, 102. The Civil War began on April 12th, the 102nd day of the year. The Civil War ended on May 9th, 5-9. Again, all these wars in our history have even been started and ended by the numbers. And the word surviving does also have a gematria 51, just like how it comes out at the end of him being 51 years old. It's racism. It's propaganda. Just had another resignation at the Pentagon. He posted this late Saturday night. That was January 5th. Looks like he goes to the same tanning bed as Donald Trump. Got the orange Oompa Loompa look. Kevin Sweeney, born November 16th, leaves the federal government on his 51st day of his age. On January 5th, a date that can be written 5/1. 51st day of his age, 5/1, says he doesn't want to work for the feds anymore. He wants to go back to the private sector. Federal with the alphabetic order 51. The word conspiracy is also 51. Think about Area 51. It's one of the first things I thought of when I learned gematria. I was like, wow, federal and conspiracy equal 51. Guess that explains why they call it Area 51. But Kevin Sweeney wants to go make the big dollars in the private sector, probably selling government secrets. And this goes on all day, from Wall Street to the Fed. A lot of people trafficking back and forth. By the way, Kevin Sweeney, 58 and 59, just like Freemasonry. He was working for the Defense Department, Defense 58. This news came at the same time as the death of Harold Brown. Harold equals 58. Former Defense Secretary Harold Brown dies at 91. And everyone will look at this and think, well, he lived a nice long life. But what I'm going to show you is it's no accident the day he died. Not at all. It's the same numbers we just talked about with the resignation of Mad Dog Mattis and him being replaced by Patrick Shanahan. Look at this. His birthday was September 19th. And he died January 4th. Keep in mind, this guy was the 14th Secretary of Defense. The 14th, dead on 1/4. From his birthday to his date of death was 107 days later. And what do we know about that? Military equals 107 with the alphabetic order. With the alphabetic order and rules numerology, military equals 44. He died on a date with 44 numerology. Where did I put it at? Maybe it's down below. 1 + 4 + 20 plus 19. I guess I forgot to do it up here, but 1 plus 4 plus 20 plus 19 is 44. So dead on a date with 44 numerology, 107 days after his birthday. He used to be the head of the military. Don't forget, Secretary of Defense equals 193 with the alphabetic order. That's the 44th prime number. We just saw Donald Trump announce the replacement for Mad Dog Mattis on Trump's 193rd day of his age. From Mad Dog Mattis's birthday, the man who just went out, to the death of this man is 118 days later. Why does that matter? Mad Dog, when you flip the alphabetic order around, is 118. Notice Mad Dog's also 44, like how this man died on a date with 44 numerology. Notice Mad Dog's also 26. He was the 26th Secretary of Defense. And with regards to 28, military is 107. 107 is the 28th prime. This is how you can know all four base ciphers matter. Again and again, the numbers that are associated with the word, they're used in the rituals. Just, you got to say, what are the odds of all of this stuff lining up again and again, day after day, story after story? For the new Secretary of Defense, Shanahan, this death comes 191 days after his birthday. That's the 43rd prime number, and 43 is the 14th prime number. The man who just died on 1/4, and he was the 14th Secretary of Defense. That also means that Shanahan is 13 Secretary of Defenses later, if you will. The man who died was the 14th. Shanahan's the 27th. This man who just died at age 91. 91's the 13th triangular number, meaning when you add 1 through 13 together, it equals 91. So it could be part of the riddle. Again, with regards to Patrick Shanahan just becoming the 27th, remember, Donald Trump withdrawed from Syria on his 27th week of his age. Syria equals 27. Mad Dog Mattis resigned 103 days after his birthday, the 27th prime. And then Trump announced his replacement on Mattis's 107th day of his age, the military number. Also Trump's 193rd day of his age. So one more piece here, just as the cherry on top. The man who died was the Secretary of Defense when Jimmy Carter was president. From Jimmy Carter's birthday to this man's death, January 4th, is 95 days later. Secretary of Defense also has Gematria 95 in the base ciphers. The man was said to be a nuclear physicist, which equals 95 as well. The man who just died. It's also 3 months and 3 days, the big federal number. So how could it all be so perfect? Jimmy Carter's next birthday will be his 95th if he makes it. I'll be surprised. Here was a great story from Friday night. Did you guys catch this one? Top story, 5 teen girls die in escape room blaze. Never seen a story like this before. If you don't know what an escape room is, it's become all the rage. You go and you pay money and you're put in a room and you're given a bunch of clues and you have to figure out how to break out of the room. And it's a challenge, These are popping up all over the world. But what's so funny about this story is it broke on Friday night, the same day the movie Escape Room came out. Oh, what a coincidence. And notice, January 5th, 2019, again, was a date with, I screwed up here. That's a typo. It should say 4. January 4th, 2019 was a date with 44 numerology. The word teen with the alphabetic order is 44. Teen's dead on the 4th, the night of the release of the film Escape Room. Thought it was interesting that the police car on the scene was number 241. It's the 53rd prime. The word burn equals 53. This happened in Kozalin, Poland. Maybe that's how you pronounce it. It's got that Masonic Gematria 74 worldwide. Police controlled by Masonry. Masonic police reporting nonsense news by the numbers. Escape Room also has that Gematria 47, the reflection. So, no doubt, news that's meant to just get people thinking about the words. Escape room. Oh, got to go check out that movie. Again, who runs the show? Who runs government and Hollywood? The same people. It's all mind control. It's all steering people. Just upload a real quick video on this before the live stream began. The Dark Lord, the supposed hacker organization, says they're going to release 9/11 related information unless their ransom demand is met for Bitcoins. Look at this. They're called the Dark Overlord, Gematria of 77, like September 11th, like World Trade Center. Like how on September 11th, Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon. 77 minutes after taking off, where the Pentagon's on the 77th meridian. This story comes after the 77th anniversary of the Pentagon, which was September 11th, 2018. If you're not aware, Pentagon construction began September 11th, 1941. And I believe the purpose of this story is to make 9/11 truthers look bad. Supposedly this is related to 9/11 truth. They're only going to give the truth if they can get some money back, some Bitcoins. And what kind of fools would ask for Bitcoins? The nearly worthless currency that's collapsed. So pretty sure Bitcoin's controlled by the New World Order. Covered that many times before too. Here was another story over the weekend. Nevada death row inmate Scott Dozier dies by apparent suicide. I doubt it. The day he died was a date with 25 numerology, death 25. The story was that he was going to be executed in July. They were going to use this new experimental my vocabulary is missing. This new experimental mix of drugs to put him to death. And one of the drugs mixed in there was fentanyl. I swear they're just marketing fentanyl in the media left and right. It's like they all want us to get addicted to fentanyl. They just got to keep putting it out there. They were even going to use it to kill this guy. But then a judge said, no, you can't use this new concoction of drugs to execute this man. Notice how fentanyl and suicide go together. We've seen a number of these stories recently with fentanyl and suicide. They're saying this guy hung himself, in a suicide after he escaped the fentanyl death injection. So I wanted to go back and look at when his death was held off. He was supposed to be put to death on July 11th. But the judge ruled that no, you can't kill him with this new concoction. So from the day he was supposed to die to the day he was found dead hanging in his cell was 179 days later. The reason that matters is because that's the 41st prime number. This guy was on death row. Death row's 41, and his surname is also 41. So what are the odds? What are the odds from the day he was supposed to be executed to the day he was found dead? Syncs up with death row, syncs up with his name. And again and again, we see people's deaths blamed on suicides that obviously aren't. They did this with Aaron Hernandez the other year. Remember that? The same day that the Patriots were meeting the president in the White House, Aaron Hernandez, the former New England Patriot, was found dead in his cell. And the mainstream media even reported that the word Illuminati was written in blood on the wall. Must have been a coincidence. This weekend, there was also a gold mine collapse that supposedly killed 40 people in Afghanistan. What's interesting is if you write out gold mine in Gematria, it sums to 38. The word gold alone is 38. Remember the golden anniversary of the Super Bowl was on the 38th day of the year. The team from Colorado, the 38th state, won it. Colorado's 38. But gold's 38, gold mine's 38, so is death. They're all 38. So is murder. So is killing. So is RIP. This happened on a date with 46 numerology. Afghanistan equals 46. Sacrifice equals 46. Something else. Something else. Another dead college football player just before the college football championship. A 19-year-old dead to start 2019. When I saw this story, I said, please do not tell me that his name equals 67. It was just my first thought. I was like, don't tell me his name equals 67 too. We saw the deaths of those UCLA basketball players right after LeBron James went to the Lakers. Both of their names equaled 67, like King, like West. Blood sacrifice is 67. And here in 2019, 67 is the 19th prime number. Well, my wish was not granted. Bryce Turner, 67, 67, the 19th prime, dead at 19. And again, blood sacrifice is 67. They said this young man was hospitalized December 30th. It's our 42 date. It's also a date with a life lesson number of 53. And 53 matters in football because the shape of the football is the vesica Piscis. Vesica Piscis equals 53 in Gematria. And his death comes just before upcoming Super Bowl 53 too. The team from California, the Chargers, did advance the weekend after his death, and the Chargers star wide receiver did play at Cal. Just makes you wonder. His name, Bryce Turner. Notice, in the reduction, reverse cipher 67. In the most pure cipher, 59. Negro, slave, blues, 59. 59 and 42 always coming together. Hospitalized on the date with 42 numerology. Bryce is also 53 to go with the 53 date that he was hospitalized. He ended up dying January 5th, 2019, the date with 25 numerology. Death, 25. So, again and again. And don't forget, earlier this year, I covered the death of C.J. Turner, the Clemson football player, who dropped dead of a seizure on October 3rd. October 3rd, 10/3 like 103. Seizure with the alphabetic order equals 103. That's the 27th prime. He wore the number 27. Clemson equals 27. I said then, remember, if Clemson makes the national championship, this man's death, because the national championship's on a date with 27 numerology this year. And the other year when Clemson did beat Alabama in the championship, they beat Alabama on a date with 27 numerology, and they'd lost a former Clemson basketball player before the championship that year who dropped dead at age 27. So, and, we've covered a number of college athlete deaths this year. And I wish I could remember them all off the top of my head. There was a guy who flew out of a window. There's been a number. But also when you read these stories, they're creepy because, here, let's just read it. Turner was hospitalized near his home in Southern California on December 30th after suffering what his family described as a medical emergency. The school did not release a cause of death. It is unclear what Turner was being treated for, but the medical event the family referenced occurred during a workout, sources said. I really would love to know more about this family. My guess is they're heavily involved in masonry. Turner's 96 like Freemason, 33 like Masonry, 39 like Masonry. People make sacrifices in this world to get other things. Does he have a sibling, a cousin, somebody else who's benefiting from this? That's why there needs to be a Gematria News Network with a paid-for staff, and people who have the resources and skills to make the connections to fill in all the gaps that we don't have yet. It's very clear what's going on, but there's still unanswered questions. Should be knocking on the door of the Turner family. Here was another good one. Lenny Green, former Boston Red Sox player, dead on his 86th birthday. Dead on his birthday as a black man. Birthday 42. Last year, Oscar Gamble, whose name equals 42, dead 42 days after his own birthday on Jackie Robinson's birthday, along with Don Lemon's sister and the former Philadelphia basketball product. Oh, I can't think of his name right now. It'll come to me. Anyway, Lenny Green's dead at 86, and guess what the name Green equals? 86, like blood sacrifice. This man died January 6, 2019, the date with 46 numerology, sacrifice 46. The headlines emphasize that he played for the Tigers, but he did also play for the Red Sox. Notice what it says here. Lenny Green, who helped the Tigers nearly win the American League pennant in 67, dead at 86. Blood sacrifice, 67 and 86. You think it's an accident they get those numbers in there? They bring up the 58 games. Got the eyes to see. If you know the Gematria code, you see why they're including these stats, these numbers. A nearly, I mean, come on, a nearly is not a big accomplishment. But here's the teams he played for. The Orioles, the Washington Senators, the Minnesota Twins, the Los Angeles Angels, and the Boston Red Sox, as well as the Tigers. They get the Tigers in there, no doubt, because he played for them in 67. The blood sacrifice number like 86. Again, I just hate all my critics out there because all of them have never taken the time to even apply the knowledge. They just go, oh, I'd only believe it if it was one cipher. Just like a lame brain retard statement. It's like, well, have you researched Gematria? Because there's no Gematria ciphers in the world where it's just based on one. It's never been that way, not for thousands of years. Just because you're a lame brain retard and you need one cipher, that doesn't mean, that this is all discredited. I'm telling you, we need a revolution. A lot of people need to be made into fertilizer because people are being made into fertilizer every single day who probably don't deserve to be. Here's another football death. Kwame Lassiter, who played for the San Diego Chargers, dead on the same date with the 46 numerology. Dead at age 49, NFL 49. Dead on the 46th date, the same day the Chargers are winning in the playoffs. The same day. Chargers are advancing, he's dying. Who made Kwame Lassiter's coffee? Look what else about his name. 213 in his name, Gematria. Where do the Chargers play now? Los Angeles, the 213 area code? It's not hard to see. It is not hard to see. There's other things there too in his name, Gematria, but dead on the sacrifice day, the same day the Chargers are moving on. And then on this same day, the date with 46 numerology, we get the death of a model. Dead at age 46, on a date with 46 numerology, found dead in her apartment. They're saying she was depressed. She probably killed herself. She wrote for the blog called The Carousel, which equals 46. In the reporting on her death, they're comparing it to the suicide of another model, Charlotte Dawson. And Charlotte Dawson in history died 46 days from her birthday. Charlotte Dawson also died on the 53rd day of the year. That's the 16th prime. This woman just died on January 6th, 1/6, and she'd been a model since she was 16 years old. And the other thing is the woman who they're comparing her to, Charlotte Dawson, her name equals 61 in Gematria. Charlotte Dawson, 61. January 6th can also be written 6/1. She died in history on a date with 38 numerology, death 38. It's also a date with 58 numerology, the big Freemasonry numbers. And when she died at age 47, the very special number to Freemasonry. She also died on the 22nd and model equals 22. But just what are the odds? Dead at 46 on a date with 46 numerology, the number we repetitively talk about, the sacrifice number. And then they compare her death to another woman who died 46 days from her birthday. And again, I'm just a broken record. I mean, we talk about the same things every single week. Every single week. One of the you-know-who's got it today. Moshe Aarons, member of Knesset, dead at 93. Today, January 7th, 2019. Remember, everything in the history of Israel is 93, including the name of their Congress, Knesset, 93. This guy was a member of Knesset. Israel's borders were drawn up September 3rd, 1947. Date can be written 9/3 or 39. That was in the year 47. Saturn equals 93. Saturn's the keeper of time. Time equals 47. With regards to the date, September 3rd being written 3/9. Don't forget 39 books in the Old Testament, the Jewish portion of the Bible. But dead at 93 on January 7th. Today has 47. Date numerology, time 47, Saturn 93. In the Bible, Saturn is El. El is the god of the Old Testament, the 39 books. El equals 17. Today's January 7th. 1-7. And his name, Moshe Aaron's, Gematria 45 and 153, just like Holy Bible. 153 is the 17th triangular number, dead on 1-7. 57 is surname, Jews equals 57, Scottish Rite 57, Scottish Rite also 78. Name has the 33 Gematria. It's got the 21 Gematria Bible numbers, Bibles 21 and 33. Shimon Peres recently died at 93, and all the world leaders met in Israel on the day leaving 93 days left in the year. Not an accident. This number is large and in charge. Saturn is so important to the occult. So this was also pointed out to me this morning. Donald Trump recently did a press conference. Border wall advocate here, guy who works border security, was up at the podium talking. And can you make out what's on his suit there, the pin? Can you make that out? It's a little blurry, but it is most definitely the Freemason compass and square with the capital G in the middle. Just a reminder who runs the show. Art del Cueto. And remember, Freemasonry is worldwide. Freemasonry is huge in Mexico. Also, last night at the Golden Globes, didn't see it myself, don't know what happened, but I've seen a lot of headlines about how Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie about Queen and Freddie Mercury, cleaned up. Notice how the media emphasized Bohemian Rhapsody, Gematria of 83 and 79 like murder. Freddie Mercury, one of the many people in this world who went out by the code. I noticed that from the anniversary of Freddie Mercury's death to this award ceremony last night, which again was on a date with 46 numerology, the sacrifice number, but from the anniversary of his death to this award ceremony was a span of 44 days, the big kill number. So thought, what a coincidence. Emphasizing the murder numbers. Movie about remembering a man who died prematurely. Interesting. Also, we have a prediction here from a reader. Kenneth says he expects the government shutdown to end tomorrow. I like his prediction. He put up his reasons here. I looked at his reasons. I said, that's kind of interesting. But here, I have an even better reason for it to end tomorrow. So we'll see if it ends tomorrow. I was thinking they might set the record here for the longest government shutdown in history. It'd have to go a little bit longer than this. But if it did end tomorrow, the thing about tomorrow is it's a date with 48 numerology. Wall equals 48, so does Donald Trump. And the whole thing's over the wall, right? And it looks like even the Republican Party is starting to go against it. So maybe it does end tomorrow. Maybe it does. If it does, remember Kenneth called it first. So good thought there, Kenneth. And for all you sports fans out there, wild card weekend. I notice oftentimes in wild card weekend, the home teams do really terrible. And it happened again. Only one home team won, 1 of 4. So the home teams were 1-3. The only home team that won was the Cowboys. And Dallas is the only home city that equaled 13. Dallas 13. Home teams were 1-3. Home also has the Gematria of 13. 41 as well, which is the 13th prime. Dallas is also 41 for the record. Dallas is 13-41 like home. Should have put that up there. But the thing about 13 this year especially is when you write out 13, it equals 99, like how it's the 99th NFL season, like how the United States of America equals 99 and was named as such on September 9th, 1776. On 9/9, we got the name the United States of America. Of course, that was synced up with the establishment of the Bavarian Illuminati, May 1st, 1776, a date with 99 numerology, established with 13 families. The nation that began with 13 colonies, that has 13 stripes on the flag. America's team, the only team that won a home game. Dallas Cowboys. America equals 32, Dallas on the 32nd parallel. And Friday night, it was the Knicks and Lakers 39th game of the season for both teams. We always talk about how 39 is the New York number. Look how many points the New York team had in the first quarter. 39 in their 39th game. New York equals 39, NY 39, NYC 39, Empire 39. The word 10, T-E-N, equals 39, and the Knicks went on to get their 10th win. Just like how there's 10 commandments in the 39 books of the Old Testament. Just like how we saw the New York sky lit up blue on a date with 39 numerology, December 27th. And New York was sure to call a timeout with 3:09 left in the second quarter too, which is where I took that screen capture and had a good laugh. So anyway, Truth Seeker, that is the end of the presentation. Appreciate all of you who are supporting on Patreon. You guys have really turned everything around for me. Again, if it wasn't for the Patreon subscribers, I probably would have been completely done with this work in August. You know, it's when I was at the bottom. The FBI came over here and threatened me, falsely accused me, and the book wasn't selling at all, and nobody really was on the Patreon yet, hardly anyone, but put out that last SOS, and I said, you guys got to step up and support this or I'm done, because I've just done too much and lost too much, and so far there hasn't been any kind of support, and I'm dead broke right now, and you guys came through in a big way, and I'm in a good place now financially. So again, appreciate that. We got the money to pay the bills here. We got a caller too. Let me take this call.
Hello?
Hello, be sure to mute the video in the background. I hear you.
What's good, Zach? I just want to get a couple of points off about the racial shaming. About the R. Kelly. When R. Kelly came up with his first album, he had a song called Vibe on there, and at the end of the song, he named a lot of women's names, a girl's name. In the song, he said, "Little cute Aaliyah's got it." And when that song came out, probably in 91 or 92, she had to be like 11 or 12 at that time when he said that. And then a couple years later, when she came out, she did a remix song with Aaliyah. She had to be like 14 or 15. And on the song, she said, "Do you want to eat me?" She was telling that to R. Kelly. So at that time, they were telling you what the storyline was R. Kelly about in the early 90s, but we didn't see it. Now I see it now, but I thought it was kind of strange that he said a little cute Aaliyah's got that. Nobody knew who Aaliyah's was back then, not knowing that he ended up marrying her when she was 15. Okay, and going to the Wild Card weekend, one of my friends I was talking, right, and he said about the racial shaming because of the R. Kelly special this weekend and all the racial shaming and stuff like that. He said, look at the games. He said he took the Colts to beat Houston because Andrew left over Watson. And then he said that the Seattle, the reason why Dallas won because Russell Wilson already had a Super Bowl, so that's why Dallas won. Then you had Phillip Rivers versus Lamar Jackson. Phillip Rivers won. Then the last game, the Philly Chicago, that one was 50-50, like a toss-up one like that. And this is my third story. I think it's somewhere in Africa, in Zimbabwe, somewhere they talking about they want to build a Wakanka City, like off the Black Panther movie. I haven't seen the Black Panther movie, but they said after that movie came out, they said Infinity Wars, the next Marvel movie. And they said that in that movie, they destroyed Wakanda in that movie. So it's kind of strange that Zimbabwe, they want to build Bwanka City in Africa, and after the movie came out, then Avengers Infinity Wars came out, and it says in that movie, they destroyed Bwanka in that movie. So it was just crazy when you were talking about all the racial shaming and stuff like that. So I just wanted to say that quick, like.
I appreciate it. Good heads up. I wasn't aware of that. And yeah, good observations in the two scenarios this weekend in the NFL where there was a white quarterback versus a black quarterback. The white quarterback did win. And also we saw how on Black Monday for the NFL, nearly every black coach got fired. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The thing about Aaliyah, yeah, I remember the whole Aaliyah R. Kelly thing. I didn't know the part about the lyrics with the "Eat Me" thing, but I also remember how Aaliyah came out with the song about age ain't nothing but a number because of that whole thing. And yeah, no doubt that all of that stuff. I mean, the record studios are controlling these people, and when they did all this, they probably had it all mapped out for the future. The day they'd kill Aaliyah. For people who don't know, Aliyah is a word for the Jewish immigration to Israel, and she died right before September 11th in a plane crash by the numbers, which is something that's covered in my book. And they probably had all this stuff mapped out for R. Kelly, what they'd be doing. I mean, R. Kelly's been shamed for how long now? Like almost 20 years?
20 years.
Yeah, like 2 decades. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And they were conquered with a Black Panther movie and the Infinity Wars movie, and then in Africa, they want to build a Bwanka City. That's predictive programming right there, too.
Yeah, you're right. I appreciate it, friend. I'm going to switch over because somebody keeps calling.
Okay.
Thank you. Hey, what's up?
Hey, are we still live?
We're still live.
Hey, yeah, I was just kind of piggyback on what the previous caller was just talking about. When in the game on Sunday, the Ravens game, it was obvious they were already setting a narrative for Flacco to come back in. You know, and as soon as they start talking about it, then Flacco, puts his helmet on, and then, the very next play was like 3rd and long, and you could just see the black quarterback get sacked. You could tell it was just, it's just so, man, I feel your frustrations because it's almost like, in this community, some of us were on the same wavelength. And for the longest time, I really couldn't figure it out, Zach. But I think I know what it is, man. It's the chemicals, it's the poisons, it's the fluoride. I mean, these people around us are like zombies. How do they not see this stuff? How is it being manipulated and mocked and played?
It is amazing. I think it is the chemicals too. I mean, it doesn't make sense, and it's a tragedy.
That, man. I never bought that for the longest time. But why would they do these things? What was it? The Russian Gulag camps where they started fluoride. I mean, that tells you all you need to know there, right? Why would they do these things? Why would they intentionally put poisons and chemicals in your food if it didn't do anything? Just like the obvious spraying of the skies pretty much every day that we get. There has to be something to that, and it's obvious things are getting worse on the surface, right? What does Gematria do? It's like you see it's all theater. These people are all actors. It's all theatrical play and show. They're just puppets. But it's getting so bad, I think that's why we see more chemicals, more poisons, more fluoride, the spraying in the skies more than it's ever been because they realize they got to keep us as dumb. And it's worked. It works. Just look at the people around us. They're like zombies.
I agree, man.
It's so frustrating, man. I was feeling your same frustration that I could tell from your voice that I was feeling today. How these people are just so dumb that they can't see through these games. And that Bears game, how many times have we seen where I look up and I say, oh, Philly's got one timeout. You know what's going to happen. You already know the script before it happens. They call timeout. Before he kicks it, the guy always kicks it and makes it. And then the next one he misses. And I missed this, but a friend of mine at work told me that the announcer even said it looked like a magnet.
So
the word magnet.
Okay, I gotta put that out there. A lot of people told me that last night in the chat. I didn't hear it either, but I guess the words he used was it was like the pole was magnetized. I need that clip.
I didn't hear it either.
So
but he said something, obviously, if you've heard it, and then I had a buddy at work said he heard the same thing, so.
They were all there were a lot of people talking about it last night. I wish I heard it myself. I would have recorded it, but A lot of people said it last night, so it must be out there. I got to get my hands on that clip.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's just a mocking on this true community. Just like we saw with that one Freemason, that one clown. I can't stand that guy. The one that does with Troy Aikman, that piece of you know what, the stuff that he said. You know, in relation to his work, you know, with the pitcher for the Dodgers and all that thing with Tupac that he did in that playoff game. I think it was a playoff or it was a World Series, I believe. But, you know, they're just throwing that little stuff out there. But these guys, man, this makes me so mad.
Hey, this is what I did notice, though, about when it hit the pole. They were talking about how it was the 5th time all season that he hit the pole. The 5th time. And they were just talking about how amazing that was. And there were 5 seconds on the clock. And what does Chicago Bears equal? 55. 5 seconds on the clock, 5th one off the pole. And then the other thing was the camera was just on the Chicago Bears coach's face who had his mouth wide open. And I pointed out how before the game, it was 257 days after his birthday, which is the 55th prime. And I don't think it's any accident that there were 5 seconds on the clock when the ball hit the post for the 5th time.
No, because when you're aware of this language, the first year or so that I knew this, I didn't realize how scripted it was. But they've got these games scripted to the clock. Everything's with the clock. Even when there's a timeout, you know, you'll see in the game where the clock in one of the games was stopped at 9:09. I mean, all these things work in conjunction with what's going on. This stuff isn't by accident, which tells you it is a complete script. And all is the officials are there just to make sure it goes as planned. You know, it's entertainment.
Well, the best example of that I saw yesterday was when the Eagles scored their winning touchdown. There was 1:01 on the clock, 1:01, which is also 61 seconds. Philadelphia equals 101 plus Philadelphia equals 61, and the date was 6/1. So, yeah,
it's so ridiculous, man. When you see this stuff and these guys that they're not catching on to this, it's just like so obvious, even on the surface, that they can't see what's being done to them. And man, I'll go back to Vatican City. Why is it at Vatican City they have the largest sculpture of what represents the pineal gland? It looks like a pine cone, but it represents the pineal gland. And when you're aware, when you've done the research, you see how influential the Catholics, the Jesuits, these people are. This is what they're interested in controlling. So, you know, put 2 and 2 together. That's why, you know, there's all the chemicals and the fluoride and all this stuff. It obviously is calcifying and having an effect on the pineal gland. Just for your listeners out there, I don't eat that great. I mean, I've improved my diet. You know, I don't drink coffee, no caffeine, no sodas. I take chlorella every day. I take apricot seeds every day. And that chlorella, and without fluoride, no fluoride, I have, reverse osmosis in my house. So my water's as clean as I can get it. And I mean, it's made a difference. I mean, I've been on that for probably better than a year and a half. And that chlorella, it must decalcify that pineal gland. There is something definitely to that, because you just look at the people around you and they are just lost, man. They're just like zombies. They just don't get the simplest stuff being done to them.
Right.
It's just sit to watch, man. It's frustrating. It is really frustrating. Did you catch that? This Alan Hearns that snapped his ankle and his leg in half. Did you see that?
I didn't. I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
You got to check that out, man. That was just gruesome. So was that real, or did it really happen or not? I mean, I didn't really do much research. I just put his name in, and I looked at his birthday was 44 days from that. But I don't know what else there.
Well, broken leg is 44.
Oh, is it? Okay. It just looked. It looked like it's just. I don't know if it's real, man. Could that be? It's just like technology and replay. It's just part of this. It has to be what they're doing with this.
Well, that's a trip. I'm going to look into it. That's a trip that it was 44 days from his birthday. Because remember the Joe Theismann and Alex Smith thing too. Both games finished with 44 combined points with the same score. So there's something up with that.
Yep. Well, hey man, I hear your frustrations, man. I'm just so happy and glad that a small group of people that are able to keep this thing going. And that we're able to keep it, because this needs to be just like spreading like wildfire, man. It needs to. And unfortunately, it's not. Hey, we got enough people that have you comfortably being able to do this every day and getting this stuff out there to expose it more and more, And that's all we can do, man. Hey, we still got a voice. We're going to use it, right? We're not going to shut until they make us.
Right.
I'm so sick of people. Everything, it's just, oh, God, some days, man, you just wake up and it's like, it's just so tiring how the people around us could be so just out of it, Zach.
I know it, man. For me, it's usually Monday. I usually wake up on Monday. I'm like, here we go again.
Yeah, and it's all the bullshit, man. All the entertainment, all this rigged horse shit with Trump, and it's just nonstop right now. It's just nonstop.
Yeah, I know it, man. Well, stay strong, brother. Appreciate your call. All right, take care, man.
See you later.
See you. All right, I saw our man from Berkeley loaded up the clip. I got to check that out. Thanks a lot for doing that, man. Awesome. And with regards to fluoride, you guys, my mom was like the first person in my life that I ever heard rant about fluoride. Oh, he's calling in right now, Berkeley. I'll tell you my fluoride story here in a moment. I told it before. Here we go, Berkeley.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, Zach. So you didn't see the clip with the magnetized ball?
I saw you uploaded it, but I haven't watched it yet, so I'm definitely checking it out.
Yeah. I put the link in the comments. Also, I have a quick decode for NBA today. The Magic versus the Kings. Well, today's a date that can be written 7/1. Reminds me of the Society of Jesus equals 71 in full reduction. Catholic equals 71 in ordinal. And those two things remind me of Pope Francis. Right? Pope Francis in Satanic Cipher is 507. If you take the number 507 and you factor it, you get 3 times 13 times 13. Like how he started his term March 13th, 2013. Well, what's interesting is if the Magic lose today, they would be getting their 1,303rd loss today, like 13/03, the date Pope Francis started his term. Also, I put a post about how the Kings would stay on 1699 home win all throughout last week because of the 266 riddle, 1699 being the 266th part. Well, I think today is a good day for them to get win number 1700 at home, with the date being 1/7. Also interesting, I don't know if this is kind of a stretch, but the Magic head coach, Steve Clifford, currently has 244 career losses. His next one would be his 245th. And I found that 245 days equals exactly 35 weeks. 35, that number reminds me of Catholic once again. Catholic is 35 in full reduction. JFK, the 35th president, the only Catholic president. So I think there's a lot that lines up for the Kings to beat the Magic today. And this has to do with the Lakers as well. The Lakers play the Mavericks. The only thing with that game is it's a little tricky because it's double coded in that the Lakers can get their 122nd head-to-head win today. Pope Francis equals 122. But then at the same time, if the Mavericks win today, Luke Walton could get his 122nd career loss tonight. And what's also interesting is if the Mavericks win today, the Lakers can stay on 121 head-to-head wins, and the Mavericks can also stay on 661 home losses. I think that's home losses. 661 home losses, where 661 is the 121st prime. So there's a whole bunch of 121s and 122s, and it's slightly double-coded, but the reason why I lean Mavericks today is because looking ahead, the Mavericks will play the Suns at home in their next game, and they currently have 665 home losses, meaning their next home win would be their 666th. I like them to get their 666th loss against the Suns in the next game, as opposed to tonight against the Lakers, because the Magic square of the Suns to 666. The Magic square of the Sun are just the numbers 1 through 36. And what makes me feel really confident about this is that the Suns also play the Pacers, I think. Let me see here. It'll be 2 games after they play the Mavericks, and they're also playing the Suns at the Pacers. And the Pacers also have 665 home losses. Now, if the Suns beat the Pacers on January 15th, then they can also hand the Pacers their 666 home loss. So that's pretty much it for the NBA decode. I have a bit more. I think people, whoever's decoding today, should look at the number 71. Also, 27 comes up a lot. Real quick, I also wanted to point out, on January 25th, there will be a total lunar eclipse. From that date to Trump's birthday is 8 weeks and 88 days. Thought that was interesting. And also, we have on February 26th, it will be 911 weeks exactly from 9/11, 2001.
Interesting.
911 weeks exactly. Guess what? February 23rd, this upcoming February 23rd is the 26th anniversary of the 1993 World Trade Center bomb. What are the chances?
On February 26th.
Yeah, sorry, 26th.
Yeah.
Not 26th.
Yeah, that's a great observation. I like that.
So,
Hey, brother, I have to hurry up because I actually have to go to the dentist, speaking of fluoride.
that's all I have.
So, yeah, great work. Keep it up. And everybody, the man on the phone, his blog is called theglitchinyourmatrix.blogspot.com. He's doing great work there. All right, keep it up, friend. You have a good day.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Yeah, just about his Kings decode. The other thing about this game is today has 20 date numerology. What a great day to go 20 and 20. Usually the records are synced up with the date numerology. And if the Magic lose, they'll go from 22 losses to 23. The word king has Gematria 22 and 23. I do have to go into the dentist today. My appointment's at 3:15. It's like a 25-minute drive from here, so got to take off here in a second. But speaking of the dentist and fluoride, I just want to say I grew up in Portland, Oregon. Portland's one of the only cities that doesn't put fluoride in its drinking water. And not only that, but my mom was just so opposed to fluoride. She learned about this from Shackley, this company that's into natural and organic stuff. They would always teach how toxic fluoride was and how it shouldn't be swallowed. So growing up, I never had fluoride toothpaste. My mom never, when I went to the dentist, she never let them use fluoride in the treatment. So like I just never had fluoride at all growing up. And sometimes I just wonder if that's what made the difference, because I felt like I was the only person who wasn't a zombie on September 11th. But appreciate all of you. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Have a great rest of your day. Oh, Miss Mildred. Miss Mildred, can you call me when you get a chance? I think you hermetically sealed those jars. I can't figure out how to open them up. I just got to get into them, but I am not smart enough to open up the jars you sealed. I have never seen such well-sealed jars. So hopefully you're out there, Miss Mildred. If not, we'll get in touch. Have a great day, everybody. Until next time.